Hi there, I'm Stacey Naquin, and this beside me is Kurt Ludlow. We do have breaking news to report to you this evening here in Columbus on a trade that the Cleveland Browns have made thanks to the work of Mr. Kevin Kelley, an attorney here in town. Let's go out to Veronica Bushmeal and see what she has to say. Well, thank you, Stacia and Kurt. Yes, this is Veronica Bushmeal, and our sources have confirmed here in the newsroom that the Cleveland Browns have acquired the rights to Odell Beckham Jr. for next to nothing. Now, as mentioned a few moments ago, Mr. Kevin Kelley, the attorney here in Columbus, is the responsible party for making sure this happened. He's quoted as saying it's a great win for the team, the fans, and all of football. Plus, we always love sticking it to the Steelers fans when possible, and he finished it up with, "Eat it, Collins." Not sure what he meant there. When we have breaking sports stories in Columbus like this, we do like to reach out to locals and see what their take is on it. Here's Columbus's own Chris Carter in his own words.
For the Cleveland Browns, the best move that they've made as a franchise, I would take the top 5 moves in franchise history, and this one would be one of them. One of their biggest moves when they lost the franchise, getting the franchise awarded back, that they were going to have football. But since then, I would say this is probably the biggest decision.
Thank you, Chris, for that insightful commentary. I don't know what we would have done without that. We also reached out to Mr. Mark Collins, an attorney here in Columbus, who is also a huge football fan.
Whoa. Hold my beer here, honey. I got to talk to these people. Yep. I just can't believe that the Browns were able to get this trade. This is a great win for them. Fortunately, my Steelers still have Antonio Brown on the roster.
Hello again, folks. Stacia Naquin and Kurt Ludlow back again. More breaking news on the sports front here in Columbus, this time involving the Pittsburgh Steelers. We'd now like to go to Veronica Bushmeal and see what she has for us in the newsroom. Veronica? Thank you, Stacia and Kurt. Boy, this is really getting deep in here now. We do have confirmation that the Pittsburgh Steelers have traded Antonio Brown to the Raiders for next to nothing. You might ask yourself, is this a good trade? Many of us here in the newsroom are asking that very same question. We've reached out to Stephen A. Smith of ESPN for his thoughts on the matter.
I was annoyed enough at the Pittsburgh Steelers getting rid of Antonio Brown for a 3rd round and a 5th round pick, the equivalent of Martavis Bryant and A.J. McCarron, for someone who is a superstar, someone who is arguably the best wide receiver in all of football, who in 6 consecutive years with at least 101 receptions, 6 consecutive years with at least 1,287 yards. That Antonio Brown is now an Oakland Raider. That Antonio Brown is no longer a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers. That Antonio Brown was given away, as far as I'm concerned, for a bag of chips and a Coke. I mean, you gotta be kidding me!
Well, certainly nobody says it better than Stephen A. Smith, except for maybe Chris Carter. With this latest revelation, we now go back to Mark Collins to see what his thoughts are regarding his Steelers.
Well, at least we still have Le'Veon Bell.
Well, Kurt, it is a very busy night here in the Channel 6 newsroom. Stacia Naquin back again with Kurt Ludlow, and we have another breaking news story regarding another trade by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Once again, we go out to Veronica Bushmeal to see if she has more on the story. Veronica? Thank you, Stacia and Kurt. Yes, this is an exhausting night in the newsroom. Mr. Kelley and Mr. Collins are sure making our jobs interesting this evening. Yes, we have confirmed with the Pittsburgh Steelers that Le'Veon Bell was recently traded to the Jets for next to nothing. An interesting trade, to say the least. We now reach out to famous attorney Alan Dorkowitz to see what he has to say regarding this trade.
Well, first of all, this is the worst scandal in the history of the United States. Let there be no doubt about this. Nobody can diminish the importance of this.
Thank you, Mr. Dorkowitz. I don't think anyone wants to diminish the importance of this trade, especially the Cleveland Browns fans. I think I'm being told in my ear that we do have video of some of the individuals that were responsible for this as they come into the news conference. I'll show that here.
It's home from work we go. Hi-ho, hi-ho, hi-ho. It's home from work we go. Hi-ho.
We reached out to multiple sources within the government to try to determine who these merry men were at this news conference. No one knew for sure, but they did look very important, and they knew exactly where to stand because of the tape on the floor. The leader of their group had this to say regarding the secrecy and why no information could be divulged ahead of time.
And that is a federal crime.
Yes, that was a very short news conference with some very important men who really knew where to stand. We reached back out to Mark Collins to make sure that he was okay with everything that has occurred.
Absolutely, 100%.
Damn it. Is that Kevin over there making noises at me? Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah.
Many other people have also weighed in on these trades that have taken place with the Browns and the Raiders and the Jets and the Steelers. Here's a tweet from President Trump. Bigly trade for Browns. OBJ will lead the way, as I have for many, many years. Kevin Kelley outdid himself this time acquiring this proven asset. He is to the Browns as I am to the world of finance. A true leader. Go Browns. He went on further to say to Mr. Collins, what is up with Collins? How can he continue to support a Steelers organization that continues to destroy the team in this way? Not a fan of either. Interesting that the president felt he needed to weigh in on this, although, what does he stay out of? Because we like to get local analysis on this, we've gone to Terry Bradshaw, an old Pittsburgh Steelers, to see what he thought.
I got a secret.
When I used to play for the Pittsburgh Steelers, I used to dance naked in the locker room. But since I can't shower anymore, here I get in the bathtub. I like to get in with my bubbles, and I like to do commercials in the bathtub with my bubbles. Oops, you caught me doing my hair. Go deep, Antonio. As far as this trade goes, I think I'm going to be a Browns fan from here on out. I don't know Kevin Kelley, but I sure would love to take a bath with him.
Wow, that was really disturbing. Almost everything Terry Bradshaw does is disturbing. We also have 3 other people that would like to weigh in on these trades and what they thought.
What difference at this point does it make?
Where does this stop?
This is a bunch of scumbags. That's what they are.
Wow, that was really great. We will now leave you with some thoughts and a few more words from Mr. Collins.